That's insane. 12 is a lot of children in Japan. Most only have one or two.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, they're building an empire, so they have to have a lot of kids. You know.
Wow. Well, what about the guy? I know there was a guy that was a director of the Godzilla movies.
Yeah, that was Harane's clone. Ishiro Honda. Ishiro, and then Honda, like the car. And I do wonder if maybe that is indicative of some sort of connection to the car company, but...
Okay, so he was also an Arasaka?
Arasaka, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Let's go through, actually, which ones are, have celebrity clones, so people can have an image in their heads. Shinji Arasaka Sr., his clone is Hiroyuki Sanada. Hiroyuki Sanada. Him, yeah. If you look at him, he has pretty soulless eyes, if you ask me. He looks pretty scary. And he's been in quite a lot of disclosure movies over the years, too, which is interesting. Yeah.
But you can't hide the evil within them.
No, you can't.
Do you feel this guy was pretty dark?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He died in 1995. Shinji Arasaka, the actor here, is still alive. But Shinji Arasaka died in 1995, and he is not missed by anyone. His wife's clone, Toshiko Takayama's clone, is a Hong Kong singer and actress by the name of Frances Yip, Y-I-P. Yeah, that exact one. Her. That's the clone of his wife. She was actually alright to me, and to most of her children. She had the decency to show up at Harane's funeral, which most people in the family did not. And she is, I don't think she's particularly dark. I think she was kind of forced into this relationship, you know, when she was young and naive and at the whims of her family.
Because they have arranged marriages in Japan?
Oh, yeah. Especially among the rich. Well, I mean, even here in the States, to an extent, rich people have arranged marriages. But it is quite prevalent in Japan also.
All right. Who else is next? Or is there more?
No, not really. Just, she was decent enough. Yoshi Arasaka. His clone is another Chinese singer. A lot of these are Chinese singers, which I'll get into why I think that is in a minute. But, Andy Lau, L-A-U. Yes, him. He's the only one of the kids I really have respect for. He turned down inheriting the company and devoted his life to the military because he didn't want any part of the blood money that his family has. And he was nice to me and nice to people. I never saw him do anything particularly bad, except, well, he was and is a bit of a womanizer, but, you know, that happens. I mean, can't hardly blame the guy for that.
Okay.
He is still alive. All of them are still alive except for the father and for Harane. Let's see. Their second daughter, Sakura, I have not found any celebrity clones of. Their second daughter, Michiko, the one who was disowned, her clone is Teresa Ting. Teresa Teng. Yes. She's gorgeous. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. And her music, I highly recommend her music. I mean, it's all in Chinese and Japanese and various and sundry other languages, but it's still really amazing music. And if you look at even the singers or singer clones past, she had quite an interesting past. She was born supposedly to a very prominent military family in Taiwan. She got her start singing for the military. Her music was used. They would broadcast her music from Taiwan over to mainland China to make people in mainland China become non-patriotic, basically, and agree to spy for Taiwan. And this is all, what I'm saying right here, that's all Googleable history, and it's quite interesting. In the breakaway, Michiko Arasaka, she was her father's favorite, but she wound up being disowned because she married the wrong guy. She married a Chinese guy, a poor Chinese guy, which, if you know anything about the history between China and Japan, for a wealthy Japanese girl to marry a poor Chinese guy was like a rich white girl in the antebellum South marrying an escaped slave. It's not a done thing at all. Not acceptable. So she was disowned for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
But can you explain how, if she's Taiwanese, right?
Yeah.
So that's like Chinese ancestry. So how would
Yeah.
a Chinese girl be the daughter of a Japanese family?
Teresa Ting, the singer, is a clone of Michiko Arasaka. Or was. Teresa Ting has passed away in the 90s. But what I think a lot of the people on this list that are going through are Chinese singers. I think what they did that for was as a kind of subtle colonization. You know, there's the history from World War II of Japan trying to colonize China, right? I think this is kind of their way of subtly still doing that by sending clones of their children to become icons in Chinese culture. Of course, people don't know that they're really Japanese, but it's still... You get what I'm trying to say? Right.
Yeah, I'm following you, John.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Subtly colonizing them.
Who
Akira Arasaka, his name, I believe his clone's name is Lewis Tan. Lewis. Tan. I believe that's his name. If he doesn't come up. Oh no, that is him, yeah. He is pure evil. Akira is. He is literally a serial killer, but he gets away with it because he's rich. And he is also a rapist. He would rape the maids that the family had. and of course there were no consequences for that. And once when one of them tried to speak out, he killed her, and he gets off on killing people. He is pure evil.
Well, oh, darn it, John. Can't just step out right where we're about to get the punchline. Okay. Well, we wait for him to come back. Let's see here. Glenn says, racism is everywhere. Funny being white and hearing this. No offense. Thank you, Frey. Glenn, Frey. Keanu Reeves. Yeah, we're going to have to hit John up for that one. Let's see here. Please talk about blood types. I can only speak on the Rh negative. John probably better speak on the. I think he said he's AB negative. Like that particular blood type has the ability to interface with the Stargates to activate them. The Rh negative factors are blood types are more easily mutatable, so that's why like a lot of these, particularly Greys, are showing up on this sector, abducting humans because they want their own, create these hybrids for themselves because supposedly their race is dying. That's what they say, but well, it's probably true. But they created that problem and they think we're gonna help them. Hi, John.
Okay. So, I mean, look at this guy's eyes. I mean, yeah. He's evil, I think. I can't think of any redeeming qualities for this guy. Akane Reinmuller ni Arasaka. Clone is another singer by the name of Sarah Liu, Liu. Not seeing. Excuse me, I'm not seeing her there. There is no H. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's her. Yeah. Yeah, her. She's also a singer. Her source code, I guess you could say, Akane in the Breakaway is also a singer. She sings in Japanese and German. Her music down here I also quite recommend. She was kind of the epitome growing up. When I knew her while she was growing up, she was kind of the epitome of a spoiled rich girl. You know, really entitled, manipulative, and, you know, the world came to an end if she didn't get her way. You know, I'm sure you've met some people. We all have.
So, John, can you explain how you knew these people so closely? Were you like living in the household with them?
Not living in the household, but well, two different connections. One was my alter Heinrich went to the same school as them growing up on Vega Prime, which it was a very prestigious school, very, very prestigious school. Heinrich's father, Immerman, who I talked about earlier, would have nothing but the best. And so he went to school with them, and he dated one of the ones we'll be getting to in a bit, growing up. Well, not growing up, in his last 2 years of high school, he dated her. And another one, my alter Kyle. He was a cyborg, although I don't like to use that term. The term really is synthetic, because he wasn't... To look at him and talk to him and even touch him, you could not have been able to tell he was not human. I'm sure we'll do shows about him in the future, and he's, by the way, the subject of my book. His story is the subject of my book. He was built by Arasaka Robotics, the company, and he also had connections within the ICC because of his position at Montauk and all of that. So he would also be at functions and dinners, weddings, funerals, what have you. So that's how I knew this family so well.
Wow. Well, here's a great question from Chad. Couldn't the clone be a different expression of the soul and actually be a good person? How would you respond to that, John?
I think that's possible, yes. I fully agree that that's possible. Because, I mean, I think I'm a pretty good person, and by most of the ways that people measure that, I think I keep to it pretty well. But I have some clones out there that are pretty terrible people. So, yeah, I would assume that the opposite is also possible.
Right, but typically, I guess the soul would resonate at a certain level, and probably that would follow through the clones.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, how about this? Keanu Reeves. What do you say? Is he?
I don't have him. I don't have recalls of him. He looks like an Andromedan to me, so it's entirely possible. And also look at the movies he's been in. Again, I always tell people look at the movies they're in. So I certainly would not rule him out by any means.
How about this? Do they believe in Godzilla?
And there's no believing in that which is material reality. There was a planet that they found that was inhabited by Godzilla-type monsters. Or creatures. They weren't monsters. They weren't evil in any way. They just were existing. But there was a planet they found that was like that, yeah.
And did they try to inhabit that planet?
No, they did not. They do have mining outposts there. There is some metal ore. I can't remember which metal, but it's extremely rare on Earth, but extremely common there. Cobalt, possibly. I'm not certain, but something that they use a lot. So they do have mining there, but the mining is done by robots who then bring it up to orbit on a ship in orbit, and it gets transported away. So actual human people don't go down there.
Because do robots get crushed occasionally?
Oh yeah.
By the Godzillas.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you actually witnessed it yourself, John? You were there on the planet?
I saw a documentary film about it once. They do documentaries in the Breakaway, and I watched one about it.
Speaking of that, John, do you think they take our videos or your videos and play them in the Breakaway?
I think they probably do. Yes. I've had some incidents in my life which I don't really want to talk about because it's kind of personal, but I've had some incidents happen in my regular life here that lead me to believe that, yeah, they're being shown out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Lorna. Who actually introduced us to alien tech and the SSP?
Ourselves. We found it first in digs, in archaeological digs in particularly Egypt, India, Iraq, what is now Iraq. It was not Iraq back then. Places like that. And in the mountains in the southwestern U.S., the Rockies, the Grand Canyon, places like that.
Okay.
Back to this family, there are a few more.
All right. Who's next?
Harane. We talked about Harane earlier. Shio Masamune ni Arasaka. Her clone is Priscilla Chan, the singer, not Priscilla Chan, the wife of Mark Zuckerberg. Which is interesting in and of itself that they have the same name. But Heinrich dated her when he was in high school. It did not work out between them. They were, not because either of them was bad people, really, just they weren't compatible personalities at all. But she would invite him over to dinner at their estate, which was this absolutely tremendous palatial thing on top of a mountain with a lake around it, or a huge moat around it, in traditional Japanese style, made up of a whole bunch of buildings. Actually, I've got a picture of it. Some artwork someone did of it. Let me find that.
You want to send it to me on Facebook? I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, I'll just post it on my wall, and then you can pull up my wall.
Okay.
Let me go there.
So, Priscilla Chan. So, yeah, what can you tell us why didn't? Oh, actually, now I remember the question. So if you were a German officer and you're dating a Japanese bloodline family, was that accepted in the breakaway with the different race?
Yeah, that was accepted because we were both. My Alter's family and her family were both obscenely wealthy. They don't really care about race; they care about your level of wealth. Okay, let me put this up.
Someone, Teresa's asking about the trans male to female actors and actresses. Do you know anything about that, John?
I'm aware of the phenomenon.
Okay. Well, let me get this over.
Yeah. Okay. Go on to. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. John, let's see. Pull you up. All right. Okay. I see it. Let me grab this and then we'll share my screen. So here we go. All right. Here we are.
Yeah, that is their estate. That's what it looks like. You can see the moat. There would be parties in the wintertime where people would go skating on the moat. They had servants there, both human and robot servants, and slaves. They had robot geishas, and they would serve the most extravagant imaginable 10 or 20 course kaiseki dinners, with the finest sake. Like, it was living on a level of wealth that I don't think most people listening to this could ever imagine. You know.
Would they drink that drink that makes them throw up so they can eat some more?
No, they did not do that, thankfully.
Okay.
They did not do that. No, they would eat little tiny portions of everything. Like 2 or 3 bites of 20 courses.
So, John, can you explain? You say it's on a mountain, right? So, is this on planet Earth or is this like in the break somewhere?
This is on Vega Prime.
And the climate is very similar to that of Japan?
Yeah, pretty much. Like jungle-y, but also kind of chilly. Yeah. So colder tropics, I guess, would be how you would be the technical term.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quite a place.
And John, is this in the future where it's like this,
No.
or is it already like that in the present?
It was already like that. They built this place in the 50s, this estate in the 50s.
So they would have had to go back in time and build up this colony, and by the 50s, it was already an advanced colony.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and is this where Arasaka Robotics is primarily located? Their manufacturing on this planet?
Not their manufacturing. Their corporate headquarters is there. Their manufacturing is primarily on Triton, Triton, the largest moon of Neptune.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh, Lorna, you need to get a copy of my book. I'll explain all about that. Yeah, so it sounds like you're at the beginner level. So we
had been on the moon for several decades by 1969.
So the Germans made treaty with the Draco 1939. By 1941, probably right after that treaty was signed, they were already going in those caverns and building facilities.
Yeah.
Okay, so Valerie's asking, why was the Great Wall of China built? John, what do you know about that?
I've heard several theories. One of the more credible ones is that it was trying to keep out the advancing Tartarians, or that it was built by Tartaria trying to keep out the advancing Chinese.
Okay,
Could go either way.
My guy tells me on remote viewing it, it was built by the Tartarians to keep the people from escaping, because the whole civilization turned dark, evil at the end. It was like an Egyptian-looking type people kind of running it with pyramids and all that. But whatever. Guess we'll all find out soon enough when chronovisor technology comes out. All right, John.
Yeah.
Where will we take this next?
Well, we could finish going through the family. There's still a few left.
Okay.
2 left.